Good evening and welcome to V8 Online's live coverage of round 4 of the iRacing V8 Supercars official series. We're at Imola this week for 25 laps. Bit of deja vu almost. We were here not long ago for V8 Scops. We're here in the official series tonight, and with me tonight is Jake Burton. Welcome along, mate.
Yeah, hey Sam, it should be a really good one tonight. Obviously a lot of the guys are really prepared and ready to go. Ian Ford was really fast in pre-qual for V8 Scops and then didn't actually end up racing. So this will be his chance to actually have a race around here, and by the looks of it, he's going to have a very easy race going straight to the top, 1.3 seconds faster than Brian Borgen now, 6/10 faster than David Lord.
Yeah, just seeing the qualifying time start to filter through, but one more lap left for most of these guys in qualifying. We are on an Australian server tonight as well, Jake, so that's something to look forward to. Probably get a bit closer than we've seen in the last week. Last week at Suzuka we were on an American server, the week before that at Coda we were on an Australian server, and we saw it with the racing was then. Imola, as we saw last Sunday night, the racing can be quite good, but it is a tricky track to get a pass done at.
Yeah, definitely get out the panels and doors for this one. I know myself had a little bit of a door-to-door moment with my teammate Madison, and a lot of guys throughout the field in the V8 Scops race had it too. Obviously, trying to get the move done into turn 1, you sort of got to have the guy clear, or if not, feed him a little wide, unless they'll send it on you into the second part of the corner and just lose you both some time. So you got to really focus on getting the moves done and being committed enough to have the car clear by the apex here.
At one point as well, Jake, is Imola's a very abrasive surface, very hard on the tyres, and it's 40 degrees out on the track surface tonight. So today in Imola, but tonight for us. So it's going to be tricky for these guys. 25 laps, I think it's going to be a sort of even split with the fuel, with again a 65 litre restriction. Shouldn't see too much issue with the tyre wear. I know it's tricky. You and I raced here last season, and I kind of smoked you in these conditions, but your car was a bit worse then. How do you think it would go with these rear tyres, Jake?
Yeah, well, Imola, I think, definitely one of those tracks that something that's very important is having a car that will rotate from sort of the apex to exit, that mid-corner steer that we talk about, because if you get understeer there and then try and pick the throttle up, it gets a little ugly, and that's when you start wearing away those rear tyres. So if you can have a car that rotates really well mid to exit, which I think is what you guys over at TTL had in that official week, as well as last week in V8 Scops, that's the car that's going to be winning here.
Yeah, a car that can be settled and not slide off the corner. Big spot for sliding is actually off that hairpin through, I think, what is it, turn 6. It's very hard to get the power down up there. It's a pretty straightforward corner, but when it gets to about laps 3 or 4, the tyre starts to lose a little bit of that nice grip and starts to slide through the corner. That's the big thing, is the rear just wants to slide. It's almost like a bit of a rally track at some points. It becomes a bit ridiculous how much the sliding goes on, and it affects the tyre massively. But qualifying is almost done. We've got a 28 car field, just got one car left to set a lap, but currently on poles Ian Ford with a massive 6/10 margin over what is a close second, third and fourth, of David Lord, Dane Warren and Brady Myers.
Yeah, Corey Preston back in P5. It's very close, as you mentioned, in that little area there, but I think Corey probably a little bit disappointed with that one. I would say he's probably the second fastest out there, so look for him to probably move up through that group in front of him. Mitchell McLeod as well, not doing too badly in P6, but he's actually just been pipped by his ex-teammate Matt Stratford, so he'll be up to P6 now. So a lot of guys with lower I ratings up in that top 5 or 6.
Well, Corey Preston actually spun on his second flying lap at the last corner, but we're hearing Henry King's the only one still on a lap. He's coming towards the final 2 corners now. A very tricky braking zone, and had a great fight here with Madison down last weekend. 2 wide 2 through this entire section of track. I think Henry's backed out of that. He's definitely backed out of that now.
Yeah, it's a very tricky braking zone downhill. A little bit of bumps depending on which line you take through the sort of kink before it. But yeah, definitely an easy one to get wrong. But good, provides a good dive bomb spot.
Yeah, I think we'll run through the grid though, Jake, as qualifying's just finished up. So we've got Ian Ford on pole from David Lord and Dane Warren in second and third. Fourth, Brady Myers with Corey Preston in fifth. Matthew Stratford, Mitchell McLeod, 6 and 7. Eighth, Brian Borg, Jason Quire, 9. And rounding out your 10 is Jason Bentz.
Over the page, Michael Talianchik Taliancic 11th, Todd Parks 12th, Henry King 13th, Mario Vlasic 14th, Ryan O'Sullivan in 15th, Craig Jones 16th, Anthony Mancarella in 17th, Wayne Taylor 18th, Chris D'Angelo 19th, and Daryl Carter rounding out the top 20.
And the last couple of cars on the grid, Brendan Jackson, Cameron Dans, 21, 22. Phil Jones, Sean Chappell, 23 and 24. 25th and 26th goes to Stephen Varga and Jose Ramon Buela, with Chad Vigor and, I'm not even going to attempt that last name, in 27th and 28th.
Yeah,
Sorry,
some challenging names out there tonight.
I'm not even going to touch that one.
Saiful Arifin.
I think we'll just go with Arifin. I was going to be nice and go with his first name, but that didn't come out.
Well, we're going to have about probably 40 seconds now until we start to see lights coming up. Bit of a curved start here at Imola. They'll be heading left straight away, and interesting braking zone down into turn 1. We often see quite a bit of carnage as they try and fight their way into a single file run. And
it's very hard if you get a good start compared to the guy in front of you to actually go anywhere. It's quite a narrow starting bit of road. I mean, because the grid's quite wide and these cars themselves are very wide. I had a great start in race 2 on Sunday. Had nowhere to go. You just kind of got to sit there and take it. It's going to be interesting to see who does make a wild dive into 1, because turns 1, 2 and 3 is very tricky to get through. And the guy on the outside at 2 has a tendency to kind of get run off the road coming into turn 3, but we're just waiting.
I've got
about 5 seconds.
Go left, go left.
Revs do sound like they're rising though.
We've actually had an issue for Craig Jones though. He's got nothing. He's got no gears. So he's
They are
on the
away
grid.
though.
But a bad start from Ian Ford. Great start from Dane. Oh, it's crashed already.
Massive shunt. That's huge. That's.
Am I watching Simmons Plains or am I watching Imola?
That is a sizable accident. We're going to have to definitely get a replay of that and have a little bit of an analysis of that. Looks like Ian Ford probably got...
That's all she wrote. David Lord's bounced off the fence and started the concertina as well, collecting Todd Parks, and it's just, yeah, that's a mess.
Yeah, I spoke about Corey Preston probably deserving to be P2 to chase down Ian Ford, and believe it or not, he was quite lucky to get through that, even though he did cop a bit of a hit and is in P2. So look for Corey to probably try and hold down that second position, as we're taking a look on board with Ryan O'Sullivan for that shunt. Looks like he had a bit of a Will Davison style steep for it. Did manage to get through though, nice and patient on that throttle, using the brake and fortunately avoiding being rear-ended.
So just going through a couple of onboards of the incident on the front straight. But while that's occurring, the leaders are actually just coming across the stripe now, so wait for the timing loop to reset. And we'll see who survived and who is, figuratively speaking, dead. So it's Ian Ford from Mitchell McLeod, Corey Preston, Brian Borg, Matthew Stratford is Borg looking to the inside of Preston into turn 1. Oh, Preston's off the road. He's off the road into 1. He's turned. Oh, gather it up. Stratty's collected him.
Yeah, Corey tried really hard to save that, but it didn't look like there was much he could do. The car just wanted to keep going left, and he's unfortunately been collected by Matt Stratford.
So actually on board with Stratford is back in live terms. He's just pulled off the road and parked it for the night.
Yeah, not really sure what to say about that one. It looks like Corey just misjudged when Mitch would brake, and he's done the right thing, and instead of hitting Mitch has gone wide, but it's put him onto the grass and he's just completely lost grip of that car and turned it left.
So Ryan O'Sullivan started 15th is 6th. Henry King 13th is now 7th, and Mario Vlasic 14th to 8th. Another benefactor, Daryl Carter 20th to 10th.
So it looks like we pretty much lost everyone, the first 4 cars behind Ian Ford, all the way up until Matt Stratford. and then we lost a few more from about 12th, 14th on the grid, sorry, back. So, looking at Mario Vlasic
Oh, he's
now.
made a move, but he's gone. He's going to get O'Sullivan. Oh dear, this race has gone
That
well and
actually
truly off.
was probably netcode contacts there with Vlasic. He's actually just gone to the inside, well, was going to be the outside of Henry King, and as he's come off the apex of the kink, has just sort of netcode hit Henry King, and that speared him straight left, and Rhino Sullivan, the innocent victim of that one.
It could have been a lot worse than it was, though. I think O'Sullivan's lucky to still have a car. He could have joined him very much in the passenger seat there.
And we're seeing something else, going on. Turn 1, Daryl Carter has rotated. See if we can see what actually happened to cause that. Yeah, he's been turned. He was a little bit out of control, but he's actually been knocked on the right-hand part of turn 1 by Jason Bentz, and that's turned him all the way around. Not much Bentz could have done there, but no doubt about it, this race has definitely not showcased the cleanest of racing this season.
Yeah, it's, I actually don't know what to say about this. This is kind of appalling. I'm going to say the stuff that's gone on the first 2 laps is quite atrocious. It's kind of hard to commentate it when guys are just throwing the car in the fence for fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that first incident we saw, that probably triggered a lot of it.
It was pretty silly though, that incident. Like trying to go forward into one on lap 1. It was. A few heads need to be realigned after this.
It was fueled a little bit by, I think, Ian Ford's blink, as we did mention. I think it sort of let everyone panic a little bit, and as we said, a lot of guys not out there this week that we usually see, so there's a lot of these guys up the front, pointy end of the field, maybe a little bit excited about the chance of getting up into that lead, so it's always going to happen in situations like this, but just a shame that some of the guys have been involved. But what it does mean though is some of the more patient guys and some of the guys who've raced a bit smarter so far are going to be rewarded. I think Phil Jones is one who's up a ridiculous amount of positions as we're looking at dance, and yeah, my mistake. Chad Vega and Daryl Carter, these two going hard at it. Good run from Daryl. He might have a look into the hairpin, but Chad covers nicely. Could do the long way.
Nah, you just fed him a panel there.
But Cameron Dance is all over it now.
It's a nice train forming here behind Vigo. We got Vigo, Carter, Dance, Chappelle, Wayne Taylor and Stephen Varga tagged on to this. This goes all the way from 11th through to 16th.
Yeah, Cameron Dance is a guy I've seen doing a fair bit of speedway racing since dirt racing's come out on iRacing, but in the front of this pack, Carter.
And Vigo is upside down. Did someone spot Lee Ellis on the track?
Look, that's... I hate to say it, but I think, to be honest, he's probably done that to himself. He's left the outside lane open to Daryl Carter, and I know there wasn't much of an overlap, but he's come straight over in the braking zone and pretty much pit maneuvered himself into the wall, but the wall's grabbed him savagely and ripped him up onto his lid.
Another damaged car to add to the scrap heap tonight. I think we've already lost 10 cars. We've lost 12. 13 we're hearing now from the director who are sitting in the pit lane. Well, it is Ian Ford leading from Mitchell McLeod by 2 seconds. He's then got a second over blind ball battle between Bentz and King. Bentz to the inside of the hairpin on Henry King. It's going to be tricky to the outside now.
King should have him clear, yep. well kept there, but Bentsy's nice and tight, so if he gets a good run up to the hill, he could have a go into the chicane. Keeps it nice and tight again. This run up this hill here is quite crucial, and Bentsy's done it well.
He's got the run, he's lucky to get the power down.
Well done there. It looks like maybe Henry King getting a slowdown, or at least yielding. It is a slowdown, especially on these hot tracks, that you can actually clear without even slowing down, so I'd say maybe he just yielded there, unless he didn't know about that.
So just checking the gap at the front when they cross the line. 2.7, we're hearing a battle between Cameron Dance, Wayne Taylor, Stephen Varga, 3 wide, exiting the chicane. They're sorting it out, still 2 wide though between Dance and Varga. Done, sorted now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be on again on the front straight though. Varga seems to not have the best pace, but he's undoubtedly got the cleanest car of these three.
Dance just drifted it off, so we're hearing from our director, is there any undamaged cars? I think the top 3.
Varga hasn't got any damage, and you can see he's just driven straight round Cameron Dance on the straight.
No, he does, Jake.
I can't see any.
Maybe you should get out of Pleb VR and actually watch it with graphics.
Mate, this is commentary of the future.
Well, if you can't see it, I'm sure our viewers can, but he's basically with a snowplow on the front of his vehicle at the moment.
Well, it's a fast snowplow nonetheless. I'm actually a little bit surprised, although it was actually about 0.8 of a second last lap, but I expected Ian Ford to probably have a 10-second lead by this stage. I mean, he did qualify 1 second faster than Mitchell McLeod, so...
Yeah, but Mitch could have qualified on the race setup. You never know what's going on with Mitch. He probably hasn't had much practice either. Hearing from
this is probably the most...
probably know.
This is probably the most prepared that Mitch has ever been for a race, having done probably the race at Scops, and
that's enough practice.
That's a fair few laps for him.
That was 20 laps of practice done.
Yeah. But it's good to see Mitch out there. Little battle pack here has developed in front of the other battle pack. We saw 8th, 9th and 10th Phil Jones, Chris D'Angelo and Brendan Jackson. Brendan is a little bit further back, but D'Angelo could have a run into 1 this time. That'll bring Jackson right back in, but again, got a whole heap of damaged cars here.
I think Phil Jones's car is pretty straight. I think he's now the 4th car I've seen that's got a straight panel on it.
D'Angelo's using all the road trying to keep up with Jones, but we're hearing that Jason Bentz and Henry King, these two at it again.
It's just a bit of a nose to tail sort of shadow fight at the moment. You see a lot of this around Imola where the guy just follows and waits for that mistake. It can actually chew the front, so because a lot of these corners they're slightly aero dependent.
Yeah, a lot of high speed, big braking zones, and take some air off that front splitter, and it does make the car a little less stable under brakes, especially when the car's really loaded, say on the run down to the second to last corner when you're both turning and braking.
Just looking at Phil Jones, Chris D'Angelo battle for 8th and 9th coming out of the chicane at the top of the hill. Brendan Jackson's tucked in nicely as well behind Chris D'Angelo. Just the tail end of the top 10. D'Angelo's in the dirt, just doing a bit of mowing.
Just looking as well, Corey Preston last time by about 7/10 faster than Henry King and Jason Bentz in front of him, so expect him to be on those two in the next couple of laps. But
D'Angelo's got the run on Jones, out of the last corner. He's just got to stay in the draft. He spent about half of the straight outside the draft. You've got to get fully in there. He's missing a bonnet, so he's going to be down on a straight line speed.
Could be possibly having some air temp problems though. Never know.
No, he's got the engine's free to breathe. It's got no cooling problems at all.
It may not have a radiator though,
Nah,
which is an
air,
issue.
air cooled, air cooled.
Air cooled.
Brendan Jackson's right under his rear wing into 4 and 5. Daryl Carter's closing up on this battle as well. Phil Jones running a different line into the hairpin.
Bit of a wiggle from Jackson on the brakes as well, and he's actually
He's drifting
bit
it
of
off the
wiggle
front,
on
off the,
exit as well.
the exit there, yeah. This is going to get spicy.
Spicy.
Yeah, spicy.
Well, we know that
I think
the
Phil
Italians
Jones
love
has
their spice.
got the fishing reel out, and D'Angelo's getting the spices ready for what he catches.
True, true. Jackson on his way up the hill. I don't know, these guys just seem, I don't know if it's because they're dealing with damage. It just seems like they're all over the place at the moment, like
It looks like
consistency
they're
wise.
absolutely ragging it. And it's lap 8.
It's like they're just trying to get the cars home but have fun at the same time. It's really bizarre the way these guys are driving. The gap is rubber banding massively between them all. They're just, one guy gets up and then the next gets up, and it's really unusual.
So an unofficial count, entirely unofficial count of incidents, but we're hearing Cameron Dance has 14 of his allocated 17, and it's lap 8.
Not a hard track to get incidents either.
He's got to tread very lightly now.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I've just found our 5th car with all straight. Oh no, I've been mistaken now. He's bent a panel. So there's only 4 cars now. It's still all straight panels. I thought Daryl Carter was good, but he's dented in his right rear quarter panel.
Oh! So I've just seen in front of Corey Preston, Henry King's had a massive moment for the second chicane, and he's still having moments, and that's allowed Corey to catch right up. He shouldn't have a slow down.
He looks like he's slowing. He's serving something that's a bit, or his car's buggered. I don't know. He's driving a bit weird at the moment. Brendan Jackson spun off the hairpin at turn 6.
So our director is yelling things that have happened at us very quickly. A lot has happened in the last few seconds.
Yeah. Our
we'll run
director said
through it.
Vlasic has crashed, but yet we definitely saw him career off the road quite early on.
Yeah, we'll go through everything that's happened. So Brendan Jackson has rotated coming out of the hairpin. Just looks like he's picked up the throttle a bit much. Just had a bit of a self-spin. That was really weird. He was well and truly moving. It wasn't really the acceleration zone. No, he gathered it up. So it's like he's pulled a gear and then it's gone. Quite bizarre actually. But as for Vlasic, looks like that was internet related for Vlasic.
Henry King into the pit lane, so potentially pit window, opening now.
Also, gap up front has extended to 6 seconds, so Ian Ford has opened the taps and driven away.
Yeah, he's sort of in cruise control at the moment, but Brian Borg's doing a good job of actually staying with Mitch. He dropped off 3 seconds, but he's matching him now for lap times.
Couple guys that have closed right up, Preston and Bentz. Bentz running a little bit wide, as does Corey in the hairpin there, so Corey definitely has had the pace advantage over the last couple laps and will probably be pretty impatient to get past Jason Bentz. He wants to move himself as far up to the front as he can after his unfortunate first couple laps.
So I'm just seeing where Henry King's popped out. He's come out behind Cameron Dance in a lot of clean air.
That's what Henry King wants to see. If he can get some clear track, that should be able to make the most of the clean tyre advantage and get away from, believe it was Jason Bentz who was chasing him. So if he can get away from Bentsy, and
Well, he was
get away
chasing
from
Bentz.
Corey as well.
So King was chasing Benson Preston, and so we'll see what he can do with fresh tyres. Not clean tyres, fresh tyres.
Bentz and Corey are both in, so it'll
Corey
only
makes
be
a late decision to pit though, and he nearly crosses the line at a rapid rate of knots.
can actually go a fair bit past the line speeding here. It's got quite a good tolerance at this track. Not too sure why, but Corey should be well safe there.
I think the radar gunman's a bit fatigued and just can't read the numbers sometimes.
He's probably been there since Scops.
There's Darryl Carter up the inside of Phil Jones into turn 1. Gets that move done. Phil Jones very compliant.
See if Corey Preston can jump Bensy. He'll probably take a short fill and try to. That's my call. I think he'll do. He's revving the engine.
He's revving the engine. Ben's got
Revving the engine cost him, I reckon.
Now, Ben's had a slow stop, but this is interesting because they're going to exit inside each other.
Corey, you want to get on the other side of that green cone? Oh!
I would have thought they would have exited inside each other and tried to drive through one another. It's happened to me before. It's quite weird, but it's a legit. Henry King's right with them. That one lap fresh tyres has closed the gap up. No, he's gained time.
Yeah, he was right behind Benz, and Benz had that big moment, remember?
Henry King was slowing way down. Henry King had that mistake that put him behind Corey, then the slowdown, so he was not close at all.
Oh, well, see if he can. There won't be a huge advantage on warm tyres, if any, so probably best thing for Henry to do is just wait and inevitably let Corey Preston try and pass Jason Bentz. Try and seize an opportunity from that.
Brian Borg to the pit lane. Ian Ford and Mitchell McLeod continue on. Ryan O'Sullivan as well continues on. We'll see what Darryl Carter and his carriages do. Carter in, Jones in, D'Angelo in.
Corey Preston. Preston's having a run on Bentz. Preston's definitely got the speed. I think he'll probably make even a late dive down here.
No, making a dive to the inside here isn't a good idea. Go to the outside, because then you can hold the line. You can actually get a better run off this corner going through now, compared to the guy on the inside who has to
Corey's
compromise
got a big straight line advantage, so I think he knows that and is probably waiting for the straight here. You can see he's already starting to reel him in. Should have it done easy at turn 1. Preston to the inside of Bentz. Bentz breaks early and Preston has P10.
which should shake out to be around about position 4.
Yes, I think he's not going too badly for Corey after that unfortunate first couple lap incident.
Now we're hearing as well Phil Jones has jumped back ahead of Darryl Carter in the pit cycle.
Hasn't got a huge margin though. Carter is right on him.
Ian's continued on, but he's getting some lap traffic, so Mitch McLeod. It could be a smart move here from Mitch, depending if Ian gets held up by this traffic or not, to try and close the gap.
Oh, good run here from Darryl Carter. He's going to go on the outside onto the fast left-hander on the way down the hill.
It's not the spot to be, though, because Phil can just run him out to the curb.
He can hold it.
He's on the Astro 2. He's going to have no traction. He's going to have to try and catch that car, which he does.
Only just. He's going to try and keep the inside, not going to be able to do it. He's probably now going to be quite vulnerable. Oh, bit of an issue from Chris D'Angelo there. Sounded like he almost missed a gear. Nonetheless.
That was a good bit of driving from Phil and Darryl there, to because that's could have been a big shunt there coming down the hill and out double right if they didn't sort each other out. And Corey Preston's just complaining over the radio about his car not turning well in one direction, a bit of damage on his car.
Looks like Darryl Carter's actually got quite a good run out of the last corner here. On Phil Jones. Jones a little bit wide, so he could see something down into 1. Not quite. Does look to the inside. Just getting up in the mirrors.
So Ian Ford, Stephen Vargan and Cameron Dance are the 3 cars left to pit.
Cameron Dance on 15 incidents unofficially, so he's done a relatively good job of keeping them to a minimum.
Or Carter's trying the high side into 6. Not going to happen. He's going to try the crisscross, get a better drive off the corner.
Doesn't quite have the run up there this time that he had last
Oh,
time.
but you can have a good send here. I know I've done it on you, Jake. It's a good, actually quite a good spot to send it. Hampstead tried it, didn't quite work for him though last week.
We're hearing the gap between Mitch and Ian is 54 seconds on track, so the cycle time is about 52, so Mitch is going to probably close that gap. It was about 6 seconds when they pitted, so it's looking like it'll probably be about 2 when they come out.
Yeah, Ian's just had to fight his way through a bit of traffic, whereas it looks like Mitch has sort of had a pretty clean run out of the pits. He had to pass one car, that was it. Whereas Ian's been fighting his way through all that traffic. And a lot of the traffic's actually had fresher tyres in him as well.
I think it's probably because of all the damage and stuff we've seen, but that's actually typically not the case. Normally if you pit early, you're the one that gets stuffed by the traffic.
Yeah.
It's actually gone the other way around this time around. Mitch has found himself a awesome bit of space and come out and
but in saying that though,
race.
because Ian's got such a big gap, when the guys pit and it's about a minute to get the whole thing done and dusted and back up to speed, that's half a lap. When you're already 3/4 of a lap ahead, you're going to be on their tail when they exit the pit lane. So I can understand why Ian's got this traffic problem at the moment. And it's probably, we'll see, it's 54, we'll see what the gap is when Mitch crosses the line, but it could potentially spice this up.
Yeah, I think overall though, Ian does have the speed. I think Mitch needs track position if he wants to do anything with it. Ian really needs to make a mistake for Mitch to have any chance, because if he's got anything more than probably half a second or a second's lead when he comes out of the pits, that's it. He'll just drive away.
You never know what Mitch can do though. He's
Well,
he could
given
just park, good in front, just park the bus.
Given his practice techniques, the opening 15 laps of this race, he could have found something in the setup or the car. Probably not the setup, but
in the anti-roll bars.
in his driving.
He's got. So gap's 54.7 seconds.
Yeah, I probably would expect Ian Ford to pit this time by, because this time by it's going to be 10 to go. So if he cuts it too fine, he'll start losing time to Mitch as the tyres go off. Ian's doing 45.7s last time by to Mitch's 45.6. So that shows how much of an advantage he has, though.
10th last, yeah. To be 15 lap old tyres compared to Mitch is probably about 5 old tyres and be a 10th slower.
And as predicted, into the lane, 10 to go for our race leader.
Now the thing is, if Mitch is within, so when Ian hits the button to leave pit lane, if he's within about 2 seconds, you'd probably see Mitch drive by into 1 because of the massive speed difference. So we'll have to keep an eye on it, where Mitch is as Ian drops. He's still driving down the pit lane. It's a very, very long pit lane. He's doing the cheeky gear change to get speed trick as well.
Yeah, while McLeod is actually just coming out of the chicane, so I think the stationary time is probably about 10 seconds.
I think 10 to 15 seconds, yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh! Yeah,
Forward.
Chad Viggers just had a rotate in front of Mitch McLeod, probably gave him a bit of a fright, but Mitch now puts the pedal down onto the front straight. Let's see when we see Ian Ford drop.
Nah, Ian's got this. Ian's away. He's already on the racetrack.
Yep, so there you go. We'll have to wait until next time to see the official gap.
I think it might be about the same. Yeah, it's about the same then.
Yeah, so we're a little bit off with our pit lane time then. So he has gained time. That's probably just the tyre advantage that's done that for Mitch, because it was a 45.5 last time by for Mitch. So his pace is generally pretty good, but we'll probably see Ian into the 44s now that he's got fresh rubber.
So we've got 10 laps to go now. So our director's saying that Cameron Dance, who's in the lane at the moment, is unofficially on 17 incidents, and he's confused as to how that works. Well, unofficial counts unofficial, so he's not disqualified.
When we got to clarify to the viewers who maybe aren't familiar with it. 16 incidents is okay, but when we say a 17 incident limit, as soon as you get the 17th incident, you're disqualified. So you can't have
You
17
do the old
incidents and then exceed it.
disappearing act, and away you go.
You always know it's happened because they have an off or something and then
Actually,
just disappear.
Dance is out of the car.
Well, maybe it wasn't unofficially 17 incidents.
No, because he was in the car in the pit lane. He drove the car into the pit box. I think Dance
Maybe
is
a
done.
meatball
Dance is out
flag?
of the race. No, his car looks alright. He hasn't hit anything in the last couple of laps.
Well, I think we should maybe take a check in with Corey Preston, who hasn't driven away from Jason Bentz quite as much as I thought he would.
Not considering how easily he drove past him in the straight line as well.
Maybe Corey struggling a little bit on older rubber. He did pit around lap 10, so tyres are only 5 or so laps old. But last time by was actually, he did 2 really fast laps, or 3 really fast laps straight out of the pits. And he's now dropped, he dropped about 7 or 8 tenths of a second on lap 15 and then has dropped massively on the last lap gone. So not sure what's happening there for Preston. Maybe he's a little short on fuel. Directors suggested maybe we should go on board with someone. I think the go-to option has got to be Ian Ford. He's had very limited airtime all race. He's got a 6-second lead and he is absolutely flying. So we'll take a lap on board with Ian Ford. I think, do we want to commentate it, Sam? Well, given we've lost Sam and are just hearing static, maybe we'll go for a turn it up this lap. So enjoy a lap on board with Evolution Racing Australia's Ian Ford around the brilliant Imola circuit.
Hello.
Seventeen turns and 4.91 kilometres of very impressive race driving from Ian Ford. The lap time is going to be a 1:44.8. He's just out there absolutely cruising away with that. So we actually saw the fastest lap of the race. So a brilliant lap to go on board. And that car is so in control.
So Bentz and Preston for P5 is heating up as well.
Yeah, not sure what's happened to Corey over the last couple of laps. I think maybe he's realised he's low on fuel, because that's the only way I can explain how you suddenly drop 8 tenths of a second and just keep dropping. Bensie's probably going to have a run here.
I think it's not a probability. I think he does have the run at the moment. He's just got no straight line speed. It's going to be quite sad for Bent sitting in there and having no speed.
Might have to have a lunge on the brakes. If Corey's saving fuel, he'll be on the brakes early, but I don't think Corey's saving fuel, so I'm not too sure what's going on with Mr. Preston there.
Bent's looking to the inside at 3. That's brave. That's brave thinking there.
Let's take a look, see if we can find some other battles on track. That Varga Chapel Jones, Varga Chapel battle has sort of spread. There's not a huge amount between them.
Yeah, the real battle is between Preston and Bence at the moment. It's going to be an interesting one because Bence has got no straight line speed compared to Preston, and Preston's just a bit slow at the moment. Other close cars on track are Phil Jones, Christy Angelo for 8th and 9th. Bence is extremely close through the double right. He's going to have a run up the hill.
He needs to do it early in the lap. If he does it late in the lap, Preston's just going to drive straight back past him on the straight. He needs to do it in the first couple
Preston's
corners.
Gone. No, he's gathered it up. No, that's where you just drive the alternate line. Send him the long way.
That is a very wide front straight, Sam. I'm not sure Corey can make that Falcon that wide.
I was talking about Bence. Bence make the Commodore wide.
Oh! Big lunge from Bence. Thought about it.
I'm just going to just jump on board with Preston. I think he's got it. The way he's been into the last couple of big stops, he's got to be saving fuel.
Yeah, that's the only way I can really explain. If I was Corey, I'd actually be backing off in a straight line. Bence isn't going to catch him, so you may as well start short
Corey's
shifting.
saving. He's lifting 150 metres early. He's on big save at the moment.
Yeah, he must have messed his numbers up pretty badly to be that far off, especially on such a hot track. Bensie's got a big run through here. I'm going to say...
Bence just needs to pull left in the braking zone and drive straight by him.
Bence will probably have a look into the hairpin. The hairpin's probably the best place for him to have a go. And let's see if he thinks about it.
Nah, Corey covered him off slightly. Just took the direct line to the apex. So
what Corey's got to remember is that it's all good to defend, but there's no purpose defending if you're not going to make it home. So he's got to not be too distracted by Jason here and focus on his fuel saving.
There.
If he's that badly low on fuel, he really needs to just focus on his saving and not worry about Bensie. It's better to get the car home in 6th than run out fighting for 5th.
Oh, Bence has almost turned him. Corey's he's got no pace, and you'd almost question whether it's worth sitting in Bence's rough for like at least just a couple of laps. Because you know you can drive past him in a straight line. Just sit there. Roll out even earlier than you were rolling out now. Half follow it down the straight. Just sit close enough to be getting a tow.
I think he can afford to even do that in a straight line. He's keeping it well pinned in a straight line, but I think maybe he's just trying to make himself... Oh, Spence looks again.
Preston's driving it too hard. He's mirror driving now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I was trying to say halfway through the lap. He needs to not be distracted by Jason Bence. Getting home is much, much better than finishing 6th.
So because Corey knows he's got a straight line advantage, he's rolling out earlier than you might normally roll out in a fuel saving battle. Bence just needs to pull left here and keep driving. Keep your foot flat a bit longer.
Not sure Bence actually knows that Preston's fuel saving.
Oh, he'd have to. He'd have to have picked it up by now. When you're gaining a couple of tenths every braking zone that's remotely heavy, you've got to pick up on it.
Can Corey make it home though? 5 laps to go.
It'll be interesting. Is the battle, second and third's closing up. That's now 3 seconds. Just keep an eye on that.
Yeah, Borgie's tyre life has seemed to be quite good.
D'Angelo, Carter, that's closed up as well. But I think this interesting battle at the moment is between Bence and Preston.
D'Angelo's quite close on the back of Phil Jones. He'll probably get the run up here to turn 3. Sort of pulls a little wide and wastes the run he did have. Yeah, I think Preston's probably going to be able to keep Bensy behind him with that straight line advantage, but it's just whether or not he can get home. As for Carter and D'Angelo and Jones, these guys, again, just sort of rubber banding as we mentioned earlier. They're a little all over the place.
Well, I think Carter's the quicker of the three cars, and we saw it in the first stint as well. He's just got to apply that pace and get a move done as he's looking every which way behind Chris D'Angelo. And this is the point of the race where if you think you've got a remote chance of a dive, you have it.
Yeah, I think Carter's probably thinking as well, not just about D'Angelo, but about Jones. He has a pace advantage of both, so if he can get past D'Angelo without losing too much time, he might be able to shot at Jones too.
Two and a half seconds gap, second and third now. That's closing up quite quickly, actually.
Yeah, Borg's
Brent's to the inside of
timeline
Preston.
quite good.
Brent's just made a move to the inside of Preston at turn 6. He's given him a touch and he's just redressed that move.
Yeah, we'll grab a replay of that, but I don't think Bence is doing that intentionally. He's come close a couple of times, so I think Corey braking so early is probably quite distracting for him.
No, Brent's definitely had a look there. That was a look. So Corey running wide under brakes. Opened the door for Bence, who was just opportunistic and threw it in there. I don't think Corey saw him and sort of turned down across the nose.
Let's take a look this time at the lap times between McLeod and Borg. McLeod with a 46.398.
You stabilise that gap now?
Yeah, I think he should be safe. We got, what, 3 laps to go now, so it's a fairly significant margin. Just make no mistakes, Mitch, and P2 should be yours. Ian Ford stretched his lead to 14 seconds that last lap. The unreal pace from him.
Yeah, he's got cruise control, but it's slightly over the speed limit, you might say. He's just driving away quite easily at the moment.
Bent's looking close again.
Carter's close to D'Angelo down the front straight. He's got to have a dive now. He's got 3 to go. He's just got to throw it in there. He's looked to the outside now. Actually, slightly smart move. No, it's a slightly smart move. You can hold it around the outside at 1. Demands position for 2, but he's sort of, yeah, he's thrown it out of the way. He needed to go in deep there and demand position at 2, and then you can sort of run him out of road coming through 3.
Bent's very close to the back of Preston through the hairpin there. I think Bent's maybe needs to do something down the bottom of the hill.
He needs to do something here, top of the hill.
Down the bottom of the hill though.
Look how much he closed up under brakes at the top of the hill here. He needs to, he's going to the AstroTurf. He needs to have a dive either in that left-hander or here. Just enough of a dive that it's going to make Corey have to slow up so much on exit that Bence can get a gap. 1.7 seconds, yeah. McLeod to Borg for second and for
2 laps
position.
to go now for those guys too. Corey actually could have a little bit of traffic to deal with here, so this could be Bence's opportunity depending on where he gets it.
Yeah, they'll probably get it in off the last corner or into turn 1.
I have to see at this stage, unless Chad jumps out of the way, it'll probably be turn 1.
Bence, he gets a good exit, but then he's just got no punch as he keeps getting through the gears. And Corey's going to get a bit of a draft now as well from this back marker.
Look back to Chris D'Angelo and Daryl Carter.
He's alongside
These guys
now.
Too wide. And Carter is going to have it done.
Quite an easy move there. No front bonnet, no bonnet. There's only one bonnet. There's no front or rear bonnet. Front bonnet there for D'Angelo. 1.4, second to third, and it will be 1 to go when they cross the line. They're just coming through the top half of the circuit now.
Maybe Mitch, fuel saving, maybe.
Mitch had one of the shortest pit stops, so just have a listen.
He was short shifting.
Yeah, I can't quite tell if he was saving there or not. We'll have to see into turn 1. It's the
One lap
last
to
lap has
go
begun.
for our race leader, Ian Ford.
No, Mitch isn't saving. He's hard up it. But it's 1.2 at the line.
He's got enough air, I think, between him and Borg to be able to keep this one as long as he keeps it on the road. Take a look at Daryl Carter. Managed to get around Chris D'Angelo.
Just hasn't been able to press on so far in this lap and get after Phil Jones. As Benson Preston start the last lap, this is Benson's last chance. He really needs to get close through turns 1, 2 and 3 and have a dive through the hairpin at 6.
And will Corey's fuel tank last this lap?
Well, you don't want to take that gamble. If you're close, have a go.
It's,
Corey's wide off of 3.
Yeah, I think if Corey can get to the bottom of the hill in front, it'll be his position, no doubt. That's
he's working hard though, Corey. He's all over the road. Bence was very deep into the hairpin.
We'll quickly go away from these two. Ian Ford driven an absolutely dominant race. Comes up to the start, finish straight. Car off to the side of the road actually, Cameron Dance. But Ian Ford takes round 4 here at Imola with a very large margin. Looks like McLeod could hold on too, assuming his tank holds on. It's going to be P2 for Mitchell McLeod and P3 for Brian Borg. But let's look back to Corey Preston and Brian Borg. Brian's last chance is going to be at the bottom of the hill, I think.
You mean Jason Bence?
Oh, Jason Bence, sorry.
That's right, VR's probably just distorting your view a bit. Can't quite read with all the pixelation.
Yeah, that's it. But I think Bence is a little bit far back, so great driving by Corey Preston. So as long as he's got enough fuel to get it up the straight, he should be able to bring it home. But look back quickly.
Oh, he had to lose off the last corner. Oh, Bence, come on! Oh, Bence couldn't get the power down. He would have nearly had him.
That is a bit of a shame. Corey is going to bring it home. Good driving by Corey to get that fuel saving done and keep in front. Henry King 7.
And 8, 9, 10 looks sorted as well between Jones, Carter and D'Angelo.
And looking back a little further, Wayne Taylor is going to bring home 11th. Just as I think our director just mentioned, gains and losses as a result of all the incidents we saw in that race. Race winner Ian Ford lights the flag in the lead, but they're back. Big changes. 7th to 2nd for Mitchell McLeod, 8th to 3rd for Brian Borg, 15th to 4th for Ryan O'Sullivan, and then I think the biggest in the whole field was Phil Jones, 23rd to 8th. I think that is all our lead lap cars over the line. So why don't we have a run through our full race results, Sam?
Yeah, so Ian Ford takes the win for Mitchell McLeod, P2, closely followed by Brian Borg in 3rd spot. 4th, Ryan O'Sullivan had a quiet one there, with Preston able to hold off Jason Bence for 5th, with Bence in 6th. Henry King 7th, Phil Jones able to prevail in that 3-car battle for 8th, with Dale Carter 9th, and Chris D'Angelo rounding out the top 10.
Over the page, we're going to have Wayne Taylor in 11th, Stephen Varga in 12th, and Sean Chappell, last car on the lead lap, in 13th. Then we have Craig Jones, 14th, Anthony Mancarella in 15th, and then I think we're starting to look through some of the victims of some of the crashes. Cameron Dance is going to be 16th, Mario Vlasic 17th, Michael Taliachik 18th, Todd Parks 19th, and Chad Vigor rounding out the 27 laps down.
Yeah, and then we got Brady Myers 21st, Jose Ramon Buela 22nd, Brendan Jackson 23rd, 24th, 25th, S. Arafin and Matt Stratford 26, 27, 28 goes to Dane Warren, David Lord and Jason Quire.
Well, Sam, definitely probably the most carnage-filled race I think you and I have ever broadcasted. That it all started down there on the run up to turn 1 with probably a 10 or 15 car pile up. Got worse from there.
Yeah, it was a very hectic first 3 laps, and then it all sort of calmed down towards the end there with a few battles petering out in the dying laps. But I think that'll do us for the night, Jake. We're back next week at Bathurst. Bathurst week. I want to race now. Well,
It's
we'll
quite
be back
unusual. We
Monday.
normally see Bathurst at week 12, but it's going to be interesting to have a bit of a mid-season run at Bathurst.
Yeah, it'll be a nice change. We've sort of ended the season for a fair while now at Bathurst, but it'll be good to change it up, mix it, bring it to the middle of the season. Nürburgring's the last round, so no one's going to come to that round anyway.
Yeah, but we should mention before we go some of the other stuff that we're going to see. Thursday night, of course, we're back for the truck series running around on those ovals. I'm not too sure what track we'll be at, but we're here just from our director,
From our projector.
Jay, that we'll be at the Rockingham Speedway. So awesome little track there. So tune in on Thursday night for that one, and then I believe it'll probably be. We got Porsche Carrera Cup on Sunday.
It's Easter, mate. We'll have that week
Oh,
off.
yeah, we'll have the week off for Easter, but a lot of the guys in the Aussie community will be racing in the first round of the World Championship for Blancpain GT Series on Saturday night. So be sure to tune in for that one, and we'll see you again next Monday for Bathurst.